Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikhil and this is the chapter 6, part 3 of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. Let's continue. My wife and I considered selling, but we decided to wait to see if the capital gains law will be changed by Congress. If it does change, we suspect the property will go up another 15 to 20%. Besides, the $5,000 a month provides a nice cash flow. The point of this example is how small amount can grow into a large amount. Again, it is matter Again, it is a matter of understanding financial statements, investment strategies, a sense of the market and the laws. If people are not versed in this subject, then obviously they must follow standard dogma, which is to play it safe, diversify, and only invest in secure investments. The problem with secure investments is that they are often sanitized, that is, made so safe that the gains are less. Most large brokerage houses will not touch speculative transactions to protect themselves and their clients, and that is a wise policy. The really hot deals are not offered to people who are novices. Often the best deals that make the rich even richer are reserved for those who understand the game. It is technically illegally to offer someone who is considered not sophisticated such speculative deals, but of course it happens. The more so-called sophisticated I get, the more opportunities come my way. Another case for developing your financial intelligence over a lifetime is simply that more of opportunities are presented to you. And the greater your financial intelligence, the easier it is to tell whether a deal is good. It's the intelligence that can spot a bad deal or make a bad deal good. The more I learn, and there is a lot to learn, the more money I make simply because I gain experience and wisdom as the years go on. I have friends who are playing it safe, working hard at their profession, and failing to gain financial wisdom, which does not take time to develop. My overall philosophy is to plant seeds inside my asset column. That is my formula. I start small and plant seeds. Some grow, some don't. Inside our real estate corporation, we have several $1 million worth of property. It is our REIT, or Real Estate Investment Trust. The point I'm making is that most of those millions started out as little $5,000 to $10,000 investment. All of those down payments were fortunate to catch a fast rising market, increased tax free trading in and out several times over a number of years. We also own a stock portfolio surrounded by a corporation that my wife and I call our personal mutual fund. We have friends who deal specifically with investors like us that have extra money each month to invest. We buy high risk, speculative private companies that are just about to go public on the stock exchange in the United States or Canada. An example of how fast gains can be made are 1 lakh shares purchased for 25 cents each before the company goes public. 6 months later, the company is listed and 1 lakh shares now are worth $2 each. If the company is well managed, the price keeps going up and the stock may go to $20 or more per share. There are years when our $25,000 has gone to $1 million in less than a year. It is not gambling if you know what you are doing. It is gambling if you just throwing money into a deal and praying. The idea in anything is to use your technical knowledge, wisdom, and love of the game to cut the odds down to lower the risk. Of course, there is always risk. It is financial intelligence that improves the odds. Thus, what is risky for one person is less risky to someone else. That is the primary reason I constantly encourage people to invest more in their financial education. than in the stock, real estate, or other markets. The smarter you are, the better chance you have of beating the odds. The stock plays I personally invest are extremely high risk for most people and absolutely not recommended. I have been playing that game since 1979 and have paid more than my shares in dues. But if you will reread my investments, such as these are high risk for most people, you may be able to set your life up differently so that the ability to take $25,000 and turn it into $1 million in a year is low risk for you. As stated earlier, nothing I have written in a recommendation. It is only used as an example of what is simple and possible. What I do is small potatoes in the scheme of things. Yet, for the average individual, a passive income of more than 1 lakh dollar a year is nice and not hard to achieve, depending on the market and how smart you are. It could be done in few 5 or 10 years if you keep your living expenses modest. 1 lakh dollar coming in as additional income is pleasant regardless of whether you work. You can work if you like or take time off if you choose and use government tax system in your favor rather than against you. My personal basis is real estate. I love real estate because it's stable and slow moving. I keep the base solid, the cash flow is fairly steady, and if properly managed has a good chance of increasing in value. The beauty of a solid base of real estate is that it allows me to be somewhat riskier with the more speculative stocks I buy. If I make great profits in the stock market, I pay my capital gains taxes on gains and then reinvest what's left in the real estate. Again, further it is securing my asset foundation. A last word on real estate. I have traveled all over the world and thought investing. In every city, I hear people say you cannot buy real estate cheap. This is not my experience. Even in New York or Tokyo or just on the outskirts of the city, are prime bargains overlooked by the most people. In Singapore, currently undergoing high real estate prices, there are still bargains to be found within short driving distance. So whenever I hear someone say you can't do that here, pointing at me, I remind them that maybe the real statement is I don't know how to do that here yet. Great opportunities are not seen with your eyes, they are seen with your mind. Most people never get wealthy because they are not trained financially to recognize opportunities right in front of them. I am often asked, how do I start? In the last chapter, I offered 10 steps that I followed on the road to my financial freedom, but always remember to have fun. This is only a game. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, but you have fun. But have fun. Most people never win because they are more afraid of losing. That is why I found school so silly. In school, we learn that mistakes are bad and we are punished for making them. Yet, if you look at the way humans are designed to learn, we learn by making mistakes. We learn to walk by falling down. If we never fell down, we would never walk. The same is true for learning to ride a bike. I still have scars on my knees, but today I can ride a bike without thinking. The same is true for getting rich. Unfortunately, the main reason most people are not rich is because they are terrified of losing. Winners are not afraid of losing, but losers are. Failure is a part of success. Failure is a part of the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. I look at money much like my game of tennis. I play hard, make mistakes, correct make more mistakes, correct, and get better. If I lose the game, I reach across the net, shake my opponent's hand, smile, and say, see you next Saturday. There are two kinds of investors. The first and most common type of people who buy a packaged investment they call a retail outlet, such as a real estate company or a stockbroker or a financial planner, and they buy something. It could be a mutual fund, a REIT, a stock, or a bond. It is good, clean, and simple way of investing. An example would be a shopper who goes to a computer store and buys a computer right off the shelf. The second type of are the investors who create investments. This investor usually assembles a deal, much like there are people who buy components of computers and put it together. It's like customizing. I do not know the first thing about putting components of a computer together, but I do know how to put prices of opportunities together, or know people who do. It is this second type of investor that is most probably the professional investor. Sometimes it takes years for all the pieces to come together, and sometimes they never do come together. It was this second type of investor marriage that encouraged me to be. It is important to learn how to put pieces together because that is where the huge wins are, and sometimes some huge losses if the tide goes against you. If you want to be the second type of investor, you need to develop three main skills. The skills are in addition to those required to become financially intelligent. First is how to find an opportunity that everyone else has missed. You see with your mind what others miss with their eyes. For example, a friend bought this rundown old house. It was spooky to look at. Everyone wondered why he bought it. What he saw that we did not was that the house came with four extra empty lots. He realized that by going to the title company after buying the house, he tore it down and sold the five lots to a builder for three times that he paid for the entire package. He made $75,000 for 2 months' work. It's not a lot of money, but it sure beats minimum wage, and it's not technically difficult. Second one is how to raise money. The average person only goes to the bank. This second type of investor needs to know how to raise capital, and there are many ways that don't require a bank. To get started, I learned how to buy houses without a bank. It was not so much the houses but the learn skill of raising money that is priceless. All too often, I hear people say the bank won't lend me money or I don't have the money to buy. If you want the be if you want to be the type 2 investor, you need to learn how to do that, which stops most people. In other words, a majority of people let their lack of money stop them from making a deal. If you can avoid that obstacle, you will be millions ahead of those who don't learn those skills. There have been many times I have bought a house, a stock, or an apartment building without a penny in the bank. I once bought an apartment house for $1.2 million. Dollars. I did what is called tying it up with a written contract between seller and buyer. I then raised the $1 lakh deposit, which bought me 90 days to raise the rest of the money. Why did I do it? Simply because I knew it was worth $2 million. I never raised the money. Instead, the person who put up the $1 lakh gave me $15,000 for finding the deal. He took over my position and I walked away. Total working time 3 days. Again, it's what you know more than what you buy. Investing is not buying, it's more a case of knowing. Third one I will share in the next. Okay, I will share it now only. Okay. How third is how to organize smart people. Intelligent people are those who work with or hire a person who is more intelligent than they are. When you need advice, make sure you choose your advisor wisely. There is a lot to learn, but the rewards can be astronomical. If you do not want to learn those skills, then being the type 1 investor is highly recommended. It is what you know that is your greatest wealth. It is what you do not know what is your greatest risk. There is always risk, so learn to manage risk instead of avoiding it. Okay, I will end this part of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, the chapter 5th here, and I will see you guys in the next audiobook. Thank you for listening.